We are back on our digital platforms. I'm WCIA3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey. Wanted to give you another update here. The time is 3:48, and we're just jumping back on here. We do have tornado warnings that are scrolling on the bottom of our TV screen here in central Illinois, and that's something that we're going to monitor. I don't have any concern at this point for our direct counties. Menard County gets us, Logan County gets us. The storm that we're watching now has moved across the river into Mason County, which is why we're not on TV. We're going to let golf go full, but we'll continue to talk about it on digital here. The storm now is north and west of Greenview, sitting right here, and it should carry itself through southern Mason County for the next little while. New Holland would be the next town in our viewing area that we have to watch here. There's Illinois 10. And it's going to take its time getting there, though. These storms are moving slow. And when I say slow, I mean slow, 20 miles an hour. And so we're going to have to watch closely to keep an eye on it, to that one storm, which I think has probably had potentially another touchdown. I'm checking to see if those spotters have been in the area, if they were watching. Based on radar presentation, really fairly confident that at least something substantial has happened in the area. And yeah, it looks like we're at 3 touchdowns, maybe adding a 4th here in Menard County. 3 touchdowns in Cass County, perhaps a 4th in Menard County. But now it's a Mason County problem for the immediate future where that rotation is right along the river. We think primarily that Menard County at this point is okay, but we're watching this other cell pretty closely here now to the west of Greenview. This here north of Petersburg. And that's something I think we'll have to monitor pretty closely and keep our eyes on. We watch storm relative velocity. This is a look at how things are spinning. That area of spin now, that's the river and the county line. It's just north of the river. We'll likely hug the river and stay to the north in central Illinois. Further downstream, I don't see anything imminently concerning in here yet. What we're looking at is the relative velocity, and I'll switch it to the different velocity. I can use different velocity products to identify different things. Green going towards, red going away. This is all going towards the radar, and what happens is when you have this rear flank downdraft here, that can often sometimes cause a spin up. I think there may have been another tornado right in here about 15 minutes ago, but now I think the rotation squarely in Mason County. I don't see any of that red and green coming close together with that southern spot, but we are going to watch it and keep our eyes closely on it here, as I think primarily we're just going to monitor storms as they continue off to the north and to the east. I'm going to bring the Skycam up here on digital. Again, we're on digital only at this point because the area of rotation has primarily been in Mason County. So that's why we dumped out of TV, but we'll stay on digital. We're going to use the camera to monitor things pretty closely here. And what I've done is I've brought it full screen in Springfield. And allow me to turn that a little bit. We're looking off to the west and north there and the general direction towards Bradfordton. We'll pan it more here to the north. This is looking north of town. The area of rotation would be well off in the distance. I'll try zooming in, but I tell you what, I'm not optimistic. Actually, I tell you what, that's not terrible of a view. But those storms are still so far away as it tries an autofocus here. It's not able to pick up very well. What we see. And again, I'm trying to pan it, trying to make it look a little better here, and it may not. Sometimes this camera is a little finicky for us and whatnot. So off in the distance, that's the storm that's now in northern Menard County. That's still far away, so we really don't get a good look at it. Down the line, though, we do have a trailing batch of scattered showers that are moving into the area, and as I reset the camera to focus now in downtown Springfield, there it goes. We'll turn this to the north and west and see if we don't see anything on our camera there as some of these little spinning showers are rolling on in, and there's nothing of imminent concern from what I see at this point. And that's something that we're going to monitor and keep our eyes on closely is those tower cameras. You know, I'll jump in the view here, and I kind of like that little cloud bank. You know, sometimes we put our cameras, we don't get the best views. There's a pole on top of that building, and that's how things work sometimes for central Illinois, but we continue to watch now. We're keeping an eye on Springfield area. I really think at this point the primary threat is still north of Springfield, and there may be a little corridor where we can't rule out a spin-up or two downstream. That, as I draw this area in here, that would primarily be, I think, this region here. And so we'll watch and see what happens with that. Maybe a little further to the east, we just can't rule out an isolated tornado touchdown somewhere over the next little bit. It seems like the closer these storms get to I-55, the lower the threat's going to be for us, but we still have that tornado warning now for Menard, Logan, Mason counties, the area of rotation is not in our viewing area and will not be in our viewing area for at least the next 10 to 15 minutes. Logan County is the next county line, but Mason County is a passover county. Mason County, I should say, is a Peoria television market county. That's the proper way to say that. But we still see that little area right there, and there's your area spin. It'll be very close to right in there, just north of the river, moving off to the east. As I bring velocity back up here, we'll take a peek. There's nothing that indicates that we've had a tight area of circulation. I bring that back a little bit, and you'll notice right in here, I think this may have been an opportunity for a touchdown. You can see that couplet right there, some of those reds and greens, and I'll give you a. This is the Greenville area, Altig Bridge Avenue. I'm taking a look at maps. Pretty rural area there. You go north, Mode Road, Montgomery Avenue. That's in the Grove Creek area, west of Greenville, I should say. And really, I think that may even been a little more to the east there. There's some farms there, but there's not a lot of real estate. There's a river that kind of tucks in there along the Sangamon River. And that may very well have been in some open land in there earlier. That was at about 3:37. Other areas that we've watched, we've had at least 3 tornadoes touch down in Cass County, and we continue to watch this storm that moves off to the east. The threat seeming to go down a bit. I think fairly soon we'll probably be able to call all clear from Menard County. And the plan will be at 4 o'clock on the dot. We'll jump back on TV and cover it there. But it's not really in our viewing area, and that's why we're not on TV. I hate to justify that, and I know golf, a lot of people want to watch that, but people also want to watch severe weather coverage. So we'll watch and keep an eye on it. But I'm hopeful at this point we're going to escape through this and see less problem. But we've got to watch each of these little spot showers now moving into Sangamon County. I'm not saying I'm seeing anything immediately concerning, but given how things have been today, we just can't rule out something trying to spin up and giving us a little problem here. These storms that's what they are. They're just problematic for us on a Saturday afternoon. Lots of folks want to watch golf and keep things uninterrupted here and monitor for a while. All right, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to monitor things closely. I'm checking some of our social media platforms to see if we've had any photos come on in. I don't have any here. Let me switch to the news profile. I don't have any on that. I'll tell you what, when it comes to some of our digital platforms and things that we have, I've got 18, 20 different ways of getting information all at once, and I've got to check them, and it's a bit of a tedious process. It's not easy to do, but it still is something worth watching. So we're going to continue to monitor that and keep our eyes here for a little bit. Okay, I'm just checking some photos. I don't. Okay. Again, we're only on our digital platforms right now, Rory, so I don't know what the issue is. And we're on our digital platforms because the storm not in our area. So we've made that call, Rory, so I think you can, So again, we're just on our digital platforms. I'm not talking too much because I'm trying to check info and communicate with folks and multitask here a little bit. All right, so if you're hearing us online, we're going to do a TV cut in here. We're getting kind of things squared away behind the scenes for 4 o'clock. I don't intend spending much in the way of that, but just wanted to get some planning behind the scenes. We're about 30 seconds out. Damar, are we good for that cut in at 4 on the dot? Is anyone in the back? Are we good for our cut in here in a few seconds? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay. 15 seconds out. I'm WCIA3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey. The time now is 4 o'clock. We'll have another quick cut-in on TV here as we watch this storm. We want to give a heads up downstream to some of our folks in Logan County as this tornado warning continues. We've been on our digital platforms and monitoring things. Some of the latest indications is that we've had some significant damage in Cass County. We're looking into that. The indication from radar and some of our data is there may have been a substantial tornado pass through that area. We'll have news working on that. I'm going to talk to news here in a minute on that, and we'll have updates coming up on WCIA3 News at 6. Real quick, before we go back to golf, this tornado warning continues for another 15 minutes here. We've got a likely tornado down south of Mason City. Downstream here, New Holland High School, eventually northern Logan County will be watching. The storm, a slow mover, has only been moving at about 20 miles an hour. And that means it's been taking its time moving through the area, which is why we've had so much coverage, so much time, and so little area here. This warning goes until 4:15, and I think at 4:15, if the warning is extended, will be the next time that we cut it on TV. In the meantime, we'll continue streaming on our digital platforms, and we'll be there. Again, this likely tornado not in our immediate viewing area. We do have warnings for our viewing area. I want to say at this point, Menard County looks a lot better than it did 15, 20 minutes ago. Still now, the focus will probably be for Logan County, New Holland, downstream. That may be an issue for Hartsburg, Emden, Lincoln, Atlanta, places like that, if that warning is extended. So first heads up to you. Of course, you'll get the notice first on the WCIA3 weather app if that's the case. In the meantime, we're going to send you back to Gulf. Please join us on our digital platforms for continuing coverage on tornadoes in central Illinois today. Do we have anyone in Springfield? No. Nobody in Springfield.
I mean, Mark might be. He kind of was working. He sent me some post hots.
Okay, you're clear.
All right, we're clear. We're on digital. I'm going to chat with one of our news anchors. So we're on here. So we have Mark in Springfield. Is Chris not available? Is Cole out of town?
Chris is not. I don't think.
If you can talk to Cole.
Gone.
Say it again.
Not in.
Okay, so if we can talk to someone in Springfield, if you have someone there, or at least yourself, if you can reach out to Cass County about damage, it seems like we've started to see some reports of at least a pretty significant tornado move through. I'd like to get of that. So if that's the case, I'd like to do that. And then if you can reach out to Cass County EMA, Cass County Sheriff's Department, get any information on that. I'd like to get into that we can for 6. Is that something you can do?
Cass County. Yeah.
Cass County, that's going to be Beardstown, that's going to be some places like that. Again, behind the scenes, if you're watching it, you get a little behind the scenes. That's Beardstown, Virginia. I'm really interested primarily in the Virginia Chandlerville area to see if there's any out of there, because what I see on radar is a little concerning from earlier of that storm rolling on through. So that's something I just want to see if you can check that. I'm still doing digital. I still got to do TV and watch for more storms, but just a heads up for you from what we've got. Any questions?
I think it's going to be pretty big still at 6.
Maybe not, but if you get information, I may have some video. We'll check in at 5. Let's check in at 5.
Okay, I was going to say, do you want to leave the 6?
We'll check in at 5, but if you get any reports from Cass County, if you could bring those to me, write them on a piece of paper, send them my way. You know, hey, they say, hey, we've got damage here, we've got this, anything like that, I'd like to know.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Bryce. All right, so you folks on digital, you get a little working behind the scenes on what's going on. We're doing a little planning here for the newscast, but what I see, I'm going to show you here one of those signatures of some substantial, pretty healthy tornado signature now north of Virginia. and I'm going to show you correlation coefficient to kind of match that here. This is what we look for. And you'll see right here, that area is an indication that we had a tornado down near Palmerton, Panther Creek, and a fairly strong one. That damage continued to strengthen near Chandlerville and before it carried off to the north and to the east. A pretty substantial tornado path. That's at least 5-10 miles before it carried into Mason County here. So there's likely some damage. That's why we've had these tornado warnings that are in place. We still have the tornado warning in Menard, Mason, and Logan County. I don't have any indication that there's anything quite as significant. We're going to watch it, and we're watching all of our different radar products to understand what's going on. There still is an area of wind shear, and they're not organized enough for velocity for seeing a couplet. But it's still something that we're going to monitor. All right, here's what I'm going to do, folks. I'm going to cut out, and I'd like to get some things done behind the scenes. I'll be back at 4:15 with an update if need be as we watch these storms, but I really think we're probably going to wind things down at 4:15. We'll still do an update on digital, still do a TV update at 4:15 regardless, and keep you updated on that.